Looking ahead to this weekend, local teens will have a chance to talk about growing up and learning leadership skills.
The Project Alpha Leadership Conference is happening at the Duke Energy Center in Uptown on Saturday. Here to talk about more about that program is the director, Jonathan Lindsay. Jonathan, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Start off by telling us the purpose of Project Alpha.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. The purpose of Project Alpha is to instill a sense of confidence when it comes to managing relationships for today's teens. So we are inundated sometimes with negative messages regarding our teens. We're trying to deliver a positive message to get them together to become leaders in their community and sharing from professionals how to manage those relationships that they deal with in life as they grow.
And I know part of the way that you do that is dealing with some sensitive subjects, things that sometimes kids don't want to talk about, teens don't want to talk about, adults don't want to talk about. How hard is it to break the ice with the kids and finally get them to open up a bit?
It's difficult, but not impossible. So you have to be willing to tackle these subjects head on. You have to come from a place of trust first and foremost, which is why we have industry professionals delivering these conversations. They're not someone like myself who works in tech. We try to make sure that we give them the space to be authentic. We let them be heard, and we don't judge them for not knowing something or having questions about it. We find that after a very short amount of time, they're willing to jump in there and be open and be vulnerable because they know that they're in a space where they can be trusted and they can trust us.
And we know sometimes parents will say, my kid won't listen to me, but maybe if they hear the same information coming from someone else, then they actually receive it. Are parents allowed to sit in on these workshops, or are these just for the teens?
Parents, so yes and no. Parents are absolutely not allowed to sit in on their workshops. But this year we have a separate parent session where we'll have trained professionals in mental health and sex and sexuality to sit down and talk with parents about how to be aware of warning signs or learn the signs that may show up that would say that their teens are in distress. So we don't want parents in the spaces where the teens are to give them the space to be open and to be vulnerable. But we also understand that there's a need for parents to have an education as well. So we'll have space for that during Project Alpha as well.
Work that the parents can do as well. Give us an idea. What are some of the most popular workshops that these teens enjoy?
So the most popular every year is we call it He Said, She Said, where we get them in the room, we put college students in the room with them, and we just talk about relationships between young men and young women and how they differ. And so you get really unvarnished feedback from each. It's a lot of laughs, it's a lot of fun. Empathy in action, where we learn that our words have power. And that is our words in person, our words digitally. So those two, I'd say, were probably the most impactful and the most fun we have each year.
Wonderful. And we should mention that Project Alpha is a part of Alpha, which is one of the oldest black male fraternities. Talk about some of the volunteer work and how you work on this project, getting these teens to participate in Project Alpha and what you want them to take away.
So the fraternity itself, we have mentoring programs that last throughout the school year from primarily young men from kindergarten all the way through their senior year of high school. And the idea is just to surround them with positive influences, share things that they may not learn in school, and provide an additional resource. We're that third place for students where they have resources they can come to in a peer group that they can work through. Project Alpha, we expanded a little bit more to accept young women as well and give them a space they can come in, learn, and grow. And the real idea behind it is that we're building leaders. I want them to learn what they're going to learn in Project Alpha, but I then want them to go out into their communities, into their schools, and take that message back to them so that we can amplify the impact.
And is it still going to be open? Can people still take part, participate? What do they need to know?
Yes, registration is still open. Probably keep it open until Thursday. So it's very easy, aka.ms/Project Alpha, one word. And you can register. It's for students from 12 to 18 and parents. And it is free of charge. You're going to have a lot of fun, prizes, giveaways, just a really upbeat and informational day.
Wonderful. All right, Jonathan Lindsay with Project Alpha there, again, happening this weekend at Duke Energy Center in Uptown on Saturday. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.